about. How exciting, right? What's the Rev going to talk about? Okay, well, I want to give you a preview and an overview of what is next for Port Townsend News and the Universal Church of Light. First of all, the Universal Church of Light is one of our DBAs for our church. The corporate name is Bringing Back Goddess Church. We have many pastors in different countries all over the United States as well. And it just fits better to have some different names for different people to use. I use in my work Goddess Church. And let's cleanse the room here. I used Universal Church of Light in my ethics complaint and stuff like that because it was more universal. So we'll call in all available angels, Mother God, Father God, the highest intents here. My mission has been of the highest integrity and of intent, and I know that many believe different, and that's fine. I don't need any validation. I don't need any allies. Recently, I've had a lot of supporters leave the Port Townsend news site. I haven't needed them. I haven't needed help for 20 years. In the beginning, I was stunned. It didn't matter the political party or what side of the argument you were on, or victim, abuser, liberal, conservative, whoever you were, people were afraid of what I do and how I do it. And it became very obvious I had to keep doing it, stay alive, and you've probably seen that in other videos. So recently, it's come to my attention that some of the dark ones have blackmailed, intimidated, bullied some of the women in my site. About a dozen of them who've been there for years. They threatened them. First of all, some of them are domestic violence victims. And they really are concerned that they're going to get even more retaliation because they know that the police and the judges and the nonprofits are working with the hive mind and that they won't have any support. So they pulled their name from my sites. They pulled all their comments. And that feels legitimate. Others have left. A few of them have left because they believe that the bad guys have secrets on them, and it's come to my attention that the bad guys have told them that it seems like Reverend Cox is another names they call me, is righteous. Like she wants to out everything and everybody. She wants to out people who break the law. So they've threatened these women and said, there's things you've done morally and ethically that could ruin your life as you know it, or that could get you criminal charges or get you in trouble. So they've threatened to tell me what they know about these women. The thing is, first of all, I'm not interested in stories that are not related to government officials. Those out there that you think I am, that you think aren't connected to government officials are. They're part of the PT hive mind that have protected the government officials. I know a lot of stuff about tons of members in the community that do things unethical and against the law and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about your private life. The public officials using blackmail and all the dirty things they do and the people connected to them has been my mission. So, yeah, I know stuff, and I don't have any interest in outing it, so don't worry about it. Secondly, it's kind of funny. Some of the women, they think I don't know something. And they think that the men that are blackmailing them do know, and they don't want me to know. But I already know. Like one particular case I can think of, I've known for like 9 months. And it even affected me personally. And I've been like, well, I'm neutral on it. This isn't about me personally. And I already gave them a pass. I'm like, and still wanted to be connected to the person. But she got scared that the bad guy was going to tell me stuff that she didn't think I knew, but I already know. So, you're not going to do anything to my mission by scaring off these women, because, yeah, it was nice to see these lovely comments, but I'm a one-woman show. I haven't needed support in decades. I don't do what I do for any particular outcome. I do the work that I consider to be a spiritual mission. And I listen to God and spirit. And you might not look at what I do as being godly or spiritual, but I do, and it's my mission. And with that said, my mission is going to be complete here soon, in a couple months, regarding Port Townsend corruption. And so that's what I want to give you an overview on. So, there's 5 ethics complaints going with the city, and they'll play out. And I will respond, and I will post on those. I will be posting videos from the Port Townsend City Council meeting to change how ethics complaints can be filed. The meeting on February 12th, and then when they finalized everything with their emergency meeting on March 17th. Just to point out the hypocrisy and the fact that there is no way to hold city officials accountable, which is what I'm proving, and I'm exposing them. You can order public records at any time on any of this for years to come. I'm also going to be posting things to educate you on how to get public records and what the process is. There's the Julie Jaman lawsuit. I kind of feel like it's going to go to a settlement, not a trial. The trial is scheduled for October of this year, 2025. I look for it to settle before then. That's just my intuition. There's federal crimes, Department of Justice, and other agencies that are investigating Port Townsend officials. I have provided some of the information for this, so has a lot of people. It's been going on for years. I will be done with providing that information within the next couple months, and I won't be posting on it. There will be civil rights lawsuits against the city of Port Townsend, the Port Townsend police, and those in the hive mind that were involved in assaulting women, and that will be ongoing. After the next 2 months, I will have provided all the public records, all the witnesses, all the information, and the case strategy that I can, and it will be taken over by large class action civil rights law firms, and I won't be posting on it or have anything to do with it anymore. So those investigations will go on without me, and my mission will be complete. Let's see. So, I had thousands. People are like, why don't you post on anything cool about Port Townsend? And I just laugh, right? Because I had hundreds of sites, thousands of videos on Port Townsend festivals, Port Townsend scenery, and walks, and beaches, and really cool events downtown, and cool animals, and parades, and just every event and everything you can think of. And because the Port Townsend hive mind decided that they didn't like what I did or said to support Julie Jaman, they got my accounts removed from Facebook. And that deleted all of my Facebook sites that I had created thousands and thousands of really cool videos promoting Port Townsend, but because I love Port Townsend and the beauty and, music and just really cool stuff and different events that only I had filmed. And so they, my Crystal Valcor account, they got removed because they said that I was using a fake name. So I didn't get any chance to remedy that. People use fictitious names on Facebook all the time. Ironically enough, these men with Salish Rescue that get protective orders against me, they get fake names and then they interact with me on Port Townsend News. And as soon as I get wind of it, I block them. So, anyway, but just as a side note here, it was ironic that it was that account that it got removed because they said it was a fake name. Because my birth certificate is Crystal Valcor. My mother was adopted Valcor. And, I know, just a little story about me. Her blood name was Adkins at the time, but she had been adopted Valcor. And so I didn't get the adopted name, Cox, until I was 11. And so, but my blood last name, who I met my biological father when I was 21, is Clark. So I got a lot of names, but Crystal Valcor was my legally born name, so that was kind of ironic. Anyway, so yeah, they got all those sites removed. Let's see. It's so funny how they abuse these women and call them names online, abuse them physically, abuse them in their privacy of their home, abuse them at public events. And then when the women speak out if they do some sort of a Facebook post or some sort of public event or anything, they get criminal charges, they get protective orders against them. The judges, the large nonprofits, city officials, police go after them for responding to what the bad guys did to them. And it's quite stunning, but that's exactly what happens. Let's see. So yeah, the ethics complaints, and then when that's done, that's all I can do. You guys you'll have the process. I will have streamlined the process and made it easier for everybody and more transparent. I will have exposed everything I can expose, and it'll be up to you to decide what kind of government you want. It's a spiritual mission for me, and the mission will be complete in a couple months as far as I see it. I don't believe in the government's a man, and I believe I create my own reality, and I'm not a victim to their reality. I'm not trying to change the governments or make evil people stop being evil. What my mission has been to awaken and support those who want to be awakened, to give voice to victims, and to provide light in all the dark places, to provide transparency. And in that, I see accountability and I see justice. There's no way to get justice in the governments of man or the courts of man where they've, created injustice. They got a fine-tuned system to where they have selective prosecution. They won't prosecute someone with 40 priors who ends up doing bad things, but they'll prosecute a homeless man for not having cream for his dog and take his dog. They'll charge me with violations of protective orders for ordering public records or for saying specific words or being obscene or offending people. But they won't prosecute horrible crimes that hurt people's real lives. So I told you that there'll be civil rights cases, and the law firms will be taking those, and I won't be reporting on them. Whatever happens with them, you'll have to rely on the amazing new Port Townsend leader. The federal complaints, there's federal hate crimes that have been being investigated for a couple of years. What happened at the Julie Jamon press conference was stunning, right? There was Homeland Security was in the crowd. There was FBI agents in the crowd. There was Antifa in the crowd. And there was, quite a few people who just thought they were really coming to support the Pride community. They got misinformation from the city and hate. I was there to support Julie Jamon's right to speech and the values of Pride. And didn't know Julie, hadn't met her until that night. I've seen her 3 times since. I didn't know Amy, I've seen her twice since. It's a spiritual mission for me, and it's between me and God, and I don't seek validation or approval or support from anyone. I just keep doing what my intuition led me for my spiritual mission. Okay, so there's public records lawsuits that will be followed through, and I'll also be teaching the public a lot on the public records system. Okay. The Jenny Ellison story, like I said, Jenny Ellison was a source. I really just wanted to know who, because all the women at the press conference and the men wanted to know who this guy we called security guy was, because he was on the radio all the time and he was telling men what to do, and they're putting stuff over our face, and he got a protective order against me and claimed at the court he was there as a medic. But women were bloody on the ground right next to him, and he didn't do nothing to help them. So, and then as you know, Libby Winstrom had said in public records, she's a city councilor here, that her crew and team was out there. So the records show she incited people and she hired people to be there. Now, I don't know if legitimately, I know that some of the crowd believed that there was a whole bunch of people coming to hurt them somehow. I don't understand, because the liberals put on the event. Mostly liberals spoke at the event. What they were afraid of, I guess, was the Proud Boys that they'd heard were coming in. I don't know of any Proud Boys that were at the first event. Robert Zerfing, I know he had filmed Proud Boy events before, but he doesn't identify as a Proud Boy, and he was there filming it. Now, at the second event, there were Proud Boys in Washington 3%, thank God, because they protected me and other women to speak, liberal women to speak. I don't have a political party. As you know, I support Trump because Trump's anti-corruption and change, and it's spiritual for me. I don't affiliate with a political party. I'm 55 this year, and I've never voted in my life, and I've never registered for a political party. This is about God to me, and in my version of God, and I don't answer to anybody but Spirit. And I lived in a car in Port Townsend for many, many years. I don't care about the governments of man or the matrix or the main system. I don't care about, I've been to that point where, you go and try to find an empty cup from a certain restaurant so you can just sit in it, pretend you bought something so you can get a couple minutes of warmth. I nearly froze to death in a car in Port Townsend. I know what is the sacred essence of importance of life, and I know God. And so what you all think of me or do to me is irrelevant. Jail's irrelevant. I've already died twice in my life and come back. So I'm not afraid of death. I've seen things that are major reality shifts. A lot of people call them the Mandela effect. Like, for example, I grew up in a world where the sun was yellow and now it's white. There's a lot of these. And then it's so profound to me that I know that when I die, I just wake up in another reality. And I've experienced that in 2 death experiences in my life. One when I was in my 20s, when I was in Hawaii and taken out by the undertow, just shot out to the ocean and left my body. So I knew I wasn't my body. So I'm not attached to your world. Yes, I did go to college, but I don't believe in that world, and I don't believe in the medicines of man and the doctors. I believe hospitals are only for emergency medicine, not curing. I've been helping cure people for decades. My passion is spiritual, energy healing, psychic healings, intuition. My mission here with Port Townsend Corruption has been spiritual to me. Let me circle back here so Jenny Ellison identifying the security guy was what I wanted from her, and I sought her out because I saw a hearing on the Jefferson County official YouTube page where Libby Winstrom was at, and she's a government official, and I recognized the guy that was security guy. So I knew her name and I knew Eric Winstrom's name because they were part of the hearing. So I went to Eric's Facebook page and I saw this woman named Jenny Ellison commenting about stuff about Libby. So I messaged her and I said, would you consider telling me your experience with Libby Winstrom? So she did. And then I sent her a picture of a security guy and said, can you tell me this guy's name? And she did. And she didn't even answer me for a month. And then like 6 weeks after that, she messaged me because several people associated with Salish Rescue wanted me to interview them because of the Braith Miller's boat touchdown, what they believed had been deliberately sank, and that it was reported wrong in the media and on social media and the newspapers. So they wanted to tell their story. So they came over here and told their story. That was December of 2023. And that's the first time I met Jenny. After that, I saw Jenny at 2 court hearings. And so yeah, they did the interview here once. I saw her at 2 court hearings. I haven't seen her since March of 2024 at the last court hearing. I do message her now and then. But Jenny's got her own site now, Port Townsend After Hours. She's strong enough to fight back for herself, and she's telling her story, and I've supported her in that. And I will back Jenny up for the rest of her life in whatever way that she needs that aligns with my own morals and spiritual mission and belief. However, Jenny Ellison does what Jenny wants to do, and we're not proxy or connected, and I don't answer to her and she don't answer to me, contrary to what the hive mind believes. So after the next couple months, it's no longer my circus, it's no longer my monkeys. My spiritual mission will be completed to where I want to leave it off and where I feel good about it. And you guys can do what you want with it. And I don't care what you think of me. I mean, if you really look at it, what possible difference could it make whether you hate me or you love me? You weren't a part of my life. You probably walked by me 1,000 times when I was living in a car downtown in Port Townsend, never spoke to me. You don't know anything about me. And whatever you've assumed about me, there's nothing I can do about it. So it doesn't bother me that you don't like me or you hate me. The relentless retaliation from Salish Rescue and people connected to Salish Rescue in retaliation for Libby Winstrom, the ethics complaint and outing, what she's done, has been quite intense. And I'd have preferred it to not have been that way. However, I wasn't seeking to be liked or validation or believe me. I don't care if you believe me. I know that I'm telling the truth, and I've done it to the best of my ability. And those who have attacked me and I've done something back to meme or comment, and I've gotten in trouble with the hive mind, with their law enforcement and their judges and their whatever, I responded to what they did to me. I didn't just go through some phone book. I'm Gen X, we had the phone book. I didn't just go through the phone book and start picking random people. How would I have even known their name, right? They attacked me, I responded, and then they get protective orders against me, criminal charges. It's insane. It's insane. Okay, let's see. As far as the spiritual stuff, those of you who are working with me on spiritual counseling and advising, I do energy healing. The work I do with you, I will continue to do with you, and we'll be in touch. You know that. My church mission goes on. It's just that I hadn't reported on anything corruption for like 6 years. And then when I saw what happened to Michael Longman, what the city did to a homeless man that nearly killed him, I was like... And then the same hive mind did it to Julia Jamon, so I spoke up. But as far as doing it for political motives and whose party's best and all these things that are of man and not of God, I'm not interested. So yeah, that'll still go on. And then, yes, the rumors are true. I'm leaving Port Townsend. And so I won't be leaving until these court cases are done. So probably late fall, the way that the docket's looking. And things that I'll need to be giving depositions and witness testimony for federal cases and state cases and local cases. And different appeals and cases I'm involved here in the Jefferson County courts as well. So as soon as those are over and I'm no longer needed to be a witness or do the depositions, my spiritual mission will be over. My spiritual mission probably be over in a couple months, but I'm not leaving Port Townsend until I'm no longer needed for other things, which I'm not going to speak of all of them. But yes, I'm leaving Port Townsend probably, hopefully this fall, if everything goes as scheduled. And for those of you wondering, yes, I am dating someone. However, we're not exclusive. So, if you want to go on a fun adventure or like a concert or a beach walk or like go have coffee or visit with me, and you think like I'm like a cutie pie or something, call me, like hit me up. Because, my spiritual mission's going to be over and, I'll be looking for some fun things to do. So, there's an overview of what's going to be next for Port Townsend News, and God has blessed you all. God bless you all. And I don't need you to understand my spiritual mission. I know my truth, and I know my God, and I do the right thing. And I encourage you to do the right thing. And I encourage you to out public officials. Reason being is to bring light to the dark, to support those out there who believe the same issue, it's stunning to understand that there's people here that abuse people, and they have, the cops know, the Dove House knows, the hive mind knows, the judges know, prosecutors know, tons of people in the community know, and they still support the abuser because they're part of the hive mind. So stand up for people. Do the right thing and be the news in your neck of the woods. Start a Facebook site, get on X, it was Twitter, and report what you know. Be sure and use the keywords. Don't just say things like, I went down to the lake and I had lunch. Say, I went down to the lake in what town, the name of the lake, the name of the place. Use keywords so your stuff can get found. You are the news. My case, Obsidian versus Cox, 2014, you have equal rights to the highest paid journalist in the wealthiest of institutions. I dedicated my life to this liberation and this light. This has been my work. as a starseed and a light worker, and it has been my spiritual work. So use your voice and speak your truth. And you can always email me, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. Reverend has 3 E's. It's shocking how many people put an A in it. But and, if you have questions or you want me to send you, not legal advice, but, any case law or examples of lawsuits, or, you just want some moral or spiritual support. All right, well, I love you all. Bye for now. Well, not quite yet. I love you all.